Welcome to your town today. I'm your host, Frank McGwire. Thanks for tuning in to WCG TV. Today on the show, we're talking about a real fun super event. In fact, it's the Super Run coming to Brandon very soon. We're very close to this exciting event that's going to bring hundreds of cars into Brandon for enthusiasts of classic cars, all the way on up to the brand new cars that have plenty of time and money invested into them for viewers to enjoy. A day-long event that's going to be incredible. The people to talk to about the Super Run are sitting right here to my left, your right. We're going to be talking to Dave Burba and Lindsay Rystephanuk. I got that right, Lindsay? These guys are committee members of the Super Run, and they're bringing it to Brandon. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's talk cars.
Yes, thank you very much for having us.
Thanks. Our favorite subject, Frank.
I would imagine. Thanks for taking the time. Let's start with a little bit of your background. Now, you guys are getting this whole thing off the ground, helping, put it as a big feather in Brandon's cap for car fans, for car show fans. Dave, you've been involved in the classic car scene for a long time. You drive a classic mobile. Talk a little bit about how you got involved, when it all started for you.
Oh, I've always liked cars ever since I was on the farm, for sure. But as you grow older, you gain more experience and everything. And then I figured I wanted to share some of that with everybody else. So in the early 2000s, my wife and I decided to get involved more so with the car community. So we started with the Road Rebels, and then into BASE, which is Brandon Area Car Enthusiast, and then with Super Run in planning for 2019.
Fantastic. So not your first rodeo by any stretch of the imagination. No. Lindsay, if you're not behind the wheel of a classic car, you're working on one, and you've been an enthusiast for many years.
Forever, Frank. Yeah. It was my love of those kind of sweet cars that led me to my career path. I'm a mechanic by trade, and certainly spent my working career fixing them and having a genuine appreciation for these sweet cars.
Sweet wheels. What do you drive? What's your pride and joy?
Well, I'm the very proud owner of a 1973 Dodge Charger. I've had that vision in my head of that car since I was 17, 18 years old. Wow. And now, through a lot of hard work and fortunate circumstances, I now drive that on a daily basis.
Oh, wow. Excellent. Yes. Top speed, or do you want to mention it here?
Oh, better not, Frank. But let me say that it comes up there pretty quick.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
We'll have to see that on a quarter-mile stretch sometime. Let's back up to Dave. Dave, you have, there's two classic sets of wheels in your family. Your wife is an enthusiast too.
Very much so. She's very heavily involved with and appreciate her help on this. And I drive a 75 Oldsmobile Tornado. I'm an Oldsmobile person right from college days when I had a 68 Cutlass, so drove that for many years. My wife just picked up a 76 Cutlass Supreme, so she's going to be bringing that to Super Run. So yes, we are heavily involved, and she enjoys it very much. Yes.
Nice. Now these are the machines. This is back when a lot of guys say, this is back when cars were cars, made of metal, and it's just it's a beautiful thing, especially when you have, hundreds of them at your exposure and disposal to see and enjoy. Let's talk a little bit about numbers of cars you're expecting for the Super Run. You're talking in the hundreds, right?
Oh, for sure. We're expecting or hoping for the 600 vehicle mark for sure. That'll bring in like 1,200 or so people, because there's usually 2 per car. So we're hoping for that. That's what our goal is. That's what we budgeted for. So yeah, should be good.
So it'll be cool to see the streets of Brandon leading up to this thing. Guys are coming in from Western Canada and really all over the map, not just here in Canada, but some American friends are coming across the board.
We have quite a large group coming up from North Dakota. We've got some people from Chicago, all through Minnesota, Minneapolis area. So yeah, from BC, Surrey's coming, from Ontario. So we've got from everywhere. So this will be the place where you'll see cars that you haven't seen before, and some fairly high-end cars too. So you'll see a mixture of everything: the local cars, some distance cars. Yes.
You'll see the streets covered with so many classic cars, it'll make your head spin. And that'll be a beautiful thing for Brandon. It's always a very cool experience to see that. When you look down the strip of 18th or Richmond Avenue and see these guys. Holy smokes! What are all these cars doing in town? Well, the Super Run is in town when they start to roll in. Right?
And they're pretty colorful cars, so you're going to see them everywhere. From the old 32 Fords, they're yellows, reds, oranges, everything like that. So you'll just see a ton of them around town. town, and yes, they'll definitely catch people's eyes.
We'll back up, Lindsay. There are some lead-up events to the Super Run here in Westman. There's a lot. You guys have, you brought your magazine here, which we're going to talk a wee bit about, but this is the kind of like a program guide for enthusiasts that
Event
want
guide.
to.
Yes,
your
our
event guide.
calendar.
So this is it here. Guys, first off, where can people pick these up if they want to maybe put one of the events on their calendar?
Oh, there should be some at Torrey's Repair on the east end of town. Piston Ring has a bunch of those too, or they can just get a hold of me or Lindsay and we can get you a few copies. They're kind of running low now because they were handed out at World of Wheels in Winnipeg so, but yes.
Okay.
But they do highlight all the events that car clubs in and around Manitoba are planning for this summer.
Okay. Highlight some of the bigger lead-up events that are coming up in Westman, just off the top of your head.
We have a week-long tour of a calendar. We're going to be going to the Elkhorn Car Museum earlier in that week. Then probably the next day, I believe it's at the Air Commonwealth Training Museum. Shiloh Museum. Thank you, Dave.
And on Monday, just to interject there, that Monday afternoon we're going to see a rat rod builder in Oak Lake. He's building a rat rod that'll compete at SEMA in Las Vegas this fall. So that'll be an interesting build or place to stop at. And
I think the feather in our hat is that all of our Super Run participants are going to be invited to the grand opening of a brand new car museum in Treeherne.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about that. Now,
It's amazing. I had the opportunity about a year and a half ago to talk with the townspeople as well as the folks that have these vintage cars. There's hundreds of these vintage cars, and we're very fortunate to be involved with those fellas, and they're making a brand new museum in Treeherne, and we will be the first ones, the Super Run participants, to tour through that officially.
Yes. So tip of the hat to the folks out in Treeherne making that happen and getting that off the ground, and welcoming these fine folks in their group too to be a part of getting that kick-started, if you will. So if you're looking for a Sunday drive, a weekend event to hit the highway on, Treeherne's really a good spot on the map to check out. You're doing this in conjunction, we mentioned, with a couple of other Western Canadian cities, Saskatoon and Red Deer. So Dave, you mentioned on the onset that those some of those participants from their cities' shows will be making their way to Brandon. It's nice that you guys can kind of intermix that way and share each other's cities, as it were, but on the flip side, you guys go out west when they have to host.
Oh, right? Very much so. With that, we have to, participate in their events. They have to participate in ours, just so we can get along and share ideas and just make this a great three-province event. Yes.
So if you're looking to get a hotel room maybe that weekend in Brandon, you better book soon, because I'm sure they're filling up quick.
That's right. You start looking at that right now. Yes, we've only got about 3 weeks left, or less than that. So yes.
Great for the economy for the city of Brandon. Good big feather in Brandon's cap. Not just for classic car enthusiasts. You said it's wide open to all showable vehicles.
That's right.
Guys want to. Now let's talk a little bit about registration, because you're working some of the lead up plans as far as where vehicles can pull up and get their number to show their vehicle. How is that going to work out? I know you've got the Keystone Centre grounds cordoned off for this. That's part of the provisions to get the thing off the ground, but you've got maybe some other plans in place that are still pending right now?
Yeah, there's still, it's a work in progress. There's things happening. We're going to have registration off the Keystone grounds just to keep the flow smooth. So that's going to happen from Monday all the way till you can register up to Sunday if you wish to, if you want to come just for that day. If you're busy, you can't fit it any other time. So yeah, we're hoping people will register early on and take in some of the tours and that.
Talk about the tour now and how the vehicles are going to be situated on the Keystone grounds. I know you're going to use probably a lot of where they have the chrome in the trees for the during the summer fair, but that's not just the only area. You're going to have more room than that with 600 cars.
Oh, for sure. We'll try to fill up the treed and grassy area the most for now. We have vintage campers here this year, so they're going to be in one little area where the trees and grass are, and have kind of like a camper village. They're going to have a drive-in theater type atmosphere. They're going to show a movie that night and have popcorn, and vintage snowmobiles will be in display. So we're going to disperse them everywhere through that whole area there. So wherever they best fit, yes.
So a lot of different vehicles. We're not talking just cars, trucks, and vans. It's wide open to a lot of...
Pretty much. We couldn't include everybody, but we've done as much as we can for this time around. But we'll have another show in 3 years, so we'll try to fit everybody else in then. So
good. So you guys basically, you're taking notes from each other's show, and as you mentioned, Red Deer and Saskatoon are going to be studying how you get things done here, and
for sure,
take take out the best of the best ideas and expand on them and make them even better the next time around. That's the way it goes. Excellent. So we'll talk about other events throughout the day. There's more than just the vehicles to come and see. You mentioned the movie, and there's probably other things. I remember the Assiniboine run you had, I think it was earlier in July. You had about 100 cars out for that. You had some competitions throughout the day as far as what participants can do, leaning more towards your skills, which would be mechanics and whatnot. Do you have any of those events kind of worked into the Super Run?
Well, Frank, we're going to be doing a valve cover racing. This is where we'll get the part of top of an engine, and we're going to put little wheels on it, and we've made up a long inclining ramp, and we're going to just have friendly rivalries between the car guys.
Friendly rivalry. The Chevy guys against the Ford guys. It's always
Ford
friendly.
guy and a Chevy guy and a Chrysler guy can have.
But there will be a trophy though, so.
Okay, well then that's worth it.
Okay, so we ballparked attendance around, like if there's going to be 600 cars, you got the owner, the significant other, obviously, and then
number of kids.
The kids are going to be there, and you're going to have the general public as well. We're looking at maybe 2,000 people throughout the course of the weekend, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Participants, you're talking about 1,200 people maybe around that area, but spectators, couple thousand per year, I'm sure per day will come through there for Saturday and Sunday. Hours are 10 o'clock each day for opening, and Saturday closes at 5 and Sunday at 4.
I would imagine a show with this magnitude and these many vehicles, there would be a fee involved. I mean, it's obviously going to be admission at the gate, I would
That's
imagine.
right, it's at the gate, yes.
Day and a weekend pass?
There's a day pass is $10, and a weekend pass that's 2 days for $15.
Okay. It's reasonable price when you think of other shows, World of Wheels and whatnot. It's a little bit more than that, and you get a lot of bang for your buck on this one.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yes, and we're also very encouraged by the monthly downtown cruise that we put together every first Thursday. The participation of the spectators is just overwhelming. It's really heartwarming that our efforts to put a show on that particular Thursday night is just met by the local folks, the car enthusiasts themselves.
Well, this is how things like this grow. You got like-minded individuals that really have a passion for this sort of thing, and they put a lot of time and effort and money invested into their machines and take a lot of pride in showing them too. So with that passion comes people that get on board and help grow these shows. Speaking of which, we do need a few people to lend a helping hand if they would like to devote some of their time to the Super Run. Dave, we do have a number that's going to be on screen for people to help out, and you guys will be around town. If anybody wants to, you're approachable guys, they'll come and say, we want to devote some time to this and just donate that to make sure it's a success. So I'm sure you wouldn't say no to anybody who wants to do that.
No, we're always looking for volunteers, registrations, for the kids zone, just different areas, even for the valve cover. We need people for everywhere in there, just grounds pickup and stuff of garbage and things. So we need people to help out all the time. We need some people maybe to take on a little more responsibility of being leaders of some different groups and things like that. So we'll definitely take you in.
Yeah, everybody's excited to come on out and make this thing a big success for the city of Brandon, and enjoy the day too. So we'll pray to the weather gods for some fantastic weather for the event. Let's talk acknowledgements, Lindsay, because there are people already on board to make sure that the Super Run is going to be a successful event.
The businesses in and around Brandon have been very generous. It's been overwhelming, pleasantly surprised, and we have to certainly give a big shout out and acknowledgement, particularly to our one of our major sponsors, Napa Auto. They've stepped up and helped us out financially, and it's very reassuring. makes it a lot easier. Thank
Excellent.
you to them.
And there's still time if you want to join in with Napa and anybody else that wants to lend their assistance and support. They can get a hold of you guys at the number we've provided on the screen here with our Your Town Today audience. And guys, it's always fun talking cars. And we didn't talk about this in the green room before, but any favorite memories of when you're showing your car, if you had somebody approach you, just kind of fall in love with your vehicle, or harken back to the time when they were driving their first car and say, you know what, my dad had a car like that, or I've always aspired to own something like that. Can you share something like that with us?
Oh, you go first on that one.
I grew up in the high performance era, late 60s, early 70s, and a lot of people did, and they have warm, wonderful memories of those experiences. And I, during car shows or even at the gas station, my brother had one like that, or my cousin had one, and then we go down that nostalgic memory lane to some better times.
All right, okay. Back when gas was a little more reasonable, and cars were cars, and they laid rubber often.
Yes, and certainly just how the car culture stays with almost everybody. They have a car story. Way back, and the brand loyalty. My friend right here, we tease him about his Oldsmobiles. And I like to believe myself as a staunch Chrysler or Mopar enthusiast.
Sure.
And there are Chevy enthusiasts, and there's Ford guys, and we just have so much fun taking little shots at each other about that.
It's all fun convincing.
Do that,
You guys have allegiance to your brand, and I mean that goes without saying. If you're going to be, you got it's a 75, 76 Oldsmobile,
75 and 76,
and a 70. So there you go. So it's entrenched in your well-being as a car enthusiast, and maybe share one of your classic car stories that people ask you questions about when they come see your vehicle, Dave.
I seem to tend to like a little more different things, a little more oddball. Like the Tornado was something a little different. It's one of the first front-wheel drive cars that was in North America. Oldsmobile started that in '66. So people are pretty intrigued at how that was put together and how it runs and all that kind of stuff. There's no hump in the middle of the car. So I just like something that's unusual. So people come up and say, I remember something like this, and just talk about their memories of that. So
I've always been a fan of that era, a little maybe further back with the tail fins. I don't know what it is. It's the aesthetics of the body of the car, just the highlighting of the light bulbs, the lenses and stuff like that. So a little bit more detail as far as the craft of the way the vehicle sits, the curb appeal, as it were. The white walls and everything, like a lot of the chrome too around the windows. Rag tops, big favorite of that. Anything with a stick shift and a bucket seat and a real big motor under the hood, and you can just hit that pedal and hit that pedal and just punch it, and it goes. And
Frank,
you hope you're in a passing lane and there's no RCMP coming the other way.
You're a car guy.
That and if they're built for speed, you might as well get some speed and enjoyment out of them, right?
That's right. I read the car magazines religiously and from front to back, and one of my favorite little quotes is that you turn the key and you're in 1969.
Feel the rumble of the engine.
Yes, sir.
You touch that gas and the whole thing just shakes. And we were talking to a fellow there last in the Assiniboine Valley run. What was the dB on that engine? How many decibels does he register with that?
That was
engine?
our friend Ron Ray.
Ron Ray, yes.
A wonderful 1969 Camaro with a 572 crate, and he does attend many shows, and one of them they had a loud contest, and he cranked 125 decibels.
That's rock concert
that is,
loud.
Yes.
That is, it is. It really is. That's like Van Halen loud is what that is,
And he's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
Yeah.
Driving a Chevy.
and a fantastic car, driving a Chevy, and a fantastic car that you really have to check out. He'll be at this show and many others, of course, through Southern Manitoba, as will you, gentlemen. Anything you'd like to add before we close off the show here and get super pumped up for the Super Run show?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, we're talking about more of the classics, the muscle cars and everything, but some of the newer cars, 2019, Challengers, Mustangs, all the kind of stuff has as much power or more power than what we had in our day, for sure. So, we want to see those vehicles too. Some people put a lot of money into that, a lot of upgrades into that. We've got the tuners, the Euros, the lowriders, all those people there too. So maybe might not be our choice, but there's still a lot of other people enjoy that kind of car. So we want to just incorporate everybody we can into that. So yes.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that, Dave. That you look at some of the newer designs, they are harkening back. They're going the retro look. They're bringing it back into today's
nostalgic of a Mustang back in those glory years.
Yeah.
The Challengers are trying to go with that.
Yep.
The modern Camaros a bit. So the manufacturers are looking after the need of us old guys.
Well, it still works, right? It's eye-catching and it's attractive, so why not go back to it, right?
Yeah, it worked once.
You don't have to recreate the wheel. It's already there for you. Just put the good body on it and away you go.
Yes.
Fellows, it's been a pleasure talking cars with you, and I look forward to sharing part of the weekend for the Super Run August 2nd and 4th, as you see on these fellows' t-shirts here. And we appreciate you taking the time out to come on Your Town today. Hopefully your phones ring, you get a few more volunteers involved, and maybe even some sponsors involved. We'll run that phone number again under the on the bottom of the screen here for anybody who wants to step up and help out and make this a great event for the city of Brandon. Dave Burba and Lindsay Rystephanuk, my guests this time around in Your Town today. Thank you so much for tuning in to WCG.
Thank you, Frank.